Now starting, all attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining our November Pennsylvania Broker Roundtable on Principles to Consider in a Changing Market, hosted by our Pennsylvania broker, Dan McIntosh. Before we begin, I want to remind everyone of the residual income you can receive by referring outside agents to Allison James. For the first 3 agents you refer, you will receive a 10% override. When you refer 4 to 20 agents, you receive 15%. And when you refer more than 20, you receive 20%. Now 10, 15, and 20% of what? Well, that's where our 3 plans come into play. First, we have Plan A. Plan A is $3,950 for the entire year. On this plan, agents keep 100% of their commission. Therefore, if you refer an agent and they join us on Plan A, you will receive $395 per year. Next, we have Plan B. Plan B is $395 per month. Agents also keep 100% of their commission on this plan option as well. If you refer an agent who joins us on Plan B, you will receive $39.50 a month. Lastly, we have Plan C. Plan C is $35 a month. If the agent you refer joins on Plan C, you receive $3.50 per month. Now, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but there's more with this plan. With Plan C, agents pay a $360 transaction fee for each transaction they close, and you, as the referring agent, will also receive 10% of the transaction fee for each and every transaction they close. So if they close a transaction every month, you're earning an extra $36 per month plus the $350, which now brings your total to $39.50 a month. If you need marketing materials to refer other agents to Allison James, please go to the Allison James University, click on the Referrals tab. From there, you will find marketing materials with more information on Allison James that you can show other agents. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started with our Pennsylvania Broker Roundtable. Remember, if you have any questions during this presentation, go ahead and type them in the questions box of your GoToWebinar control panel, and we will answer them at the end. I will now pass it over to Dan McIntosh. Good afternoon, Dan.
Good afternoon, Tori. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely.
And today the topic for today, principles to consider in a changing market, is a pretty open-ended topic. So what I've decided to do, and depending on time, we're going to start off. I always like to scour information, articles when I prepare for the roundtables. And I have some interesting things to share. So regarding principles to consider in a changing market, the first thing I'm going to share is 6 key signs that a local real estate market is changing gears. Now, this was put together by the Forbes Real Estate Council. This article came out in June of this year. So what we're sort of going to do is go over 6 key signs that a local real estate market is changing gears, and then we can sort of apply it to our market. And within the Philadelphia area, there are multiple pockets and markets. I mean, you have the Center City market, we have the Old City market, we have the Graduate Hospital area, we have Fishtown, we have Queen Village. I mean, we have Chinatown. There are numbers of individual communities all within the city of Philadelphia, and all of them have different gauges that we track. And then we have the suburban market. So there are a lot of moving parts, but these are some general keys that I think we can all use to help us see when, hey, things are about to change. So if you are a seller looking to offload a property, or a buyer looking to get the most out of your investment, you want to make sure you truly understand the market cycle and when is the right moment to act. Conversely, your real estate agent should also know the market cycle and when the right time is to act. While there are a number of up and coming areas that people are watching, your local community may be ready to heat up as well. And again, this is why I mentioned all the different neighborhoods and subsectors within any given market, and Philadelphia has a number of them. Properly gauging the health of the market is key to making the wisest real estate investment or selling decision possible. While watching for the signals on which way your local market is moving can help you decide when the time is right to sell or buy. So below, 6 members of Forbes Real Estate Council share the key signs to look for to tell whether or not a local real estate market is heating up. And here's what they recommend. Number 1, days on the market in new builds. I have found that watching the inventory levels, number of days on the market, year-over-year price appreciation, and overall new builds are a great way to determine the health of the market and if that market is heating up. It is crucial to be in the know whether buying or selling. So obviously as an agent, I mean, it's fairly simple to go in and you can go into your MLS and look for new construction. In our area, new construction reports are put out on local news media monthly. So, but you can go into Trend, take a look, and then this is a way to know if there's a large inventory of new builds, you know that the market's changing. 2, pricing history and absorption. Pricing history, available inventory, and absorption are the key indicators a market is heating up. Being aware of these telltale signs is crucial to understanding what cycle your market is in. As a professional, knowing where your market is in the cycle is very important in properly advising buyers and sellers of the potential risks and rewards of buying and selling at that particular time. And here in the greater Philadelphia market over the summer, we've experienced something like that. At the beginning of the year, inventory levels were high, but not extremely high. Business was brisk. There were multiple offers on properties, which literally were driving up prices at the beginning of the year. Towards the middle of summer, things sort of hit a wall, and the center city market slowed down. There were a number of buyers out there who were disenfranchised because they may have put 2 or 3 offers in and always gotten beaten out by another buyer. So those buyers sort of began to sit on the sideline. We also noted that the Fed, keeping with its plan on raising short-term interest rates, has raised the rates through 3 straight quarters. Interest rates right now are hovering right around 5%, which is up almost a full percent from where they were at the beginning of 2018. So that put buyers began to slow down, and there was some concern about rising interest rates, which has sort of put a negative pressure on sales here in the greater Philadelphia area. Moving on to number 3. So that's exactly why it's important to know the pricing history, available inventory, and the absorption rates when you advise your sellers and buyers today. Number 3 on the Forbes list, inventory levels. One way to tell when the real estate market is heating up is by monitoring the inventory levels. Again, sort of repeating what we already discussed, but oftentimes low inventory of houses for sale will indicate that housing prices could increase soon. So where we did have a lower, and I don't want to sound like I contradicted myself, but relatively lower inventory at the beginning of the year here in Philadelphia, and there were a number of buyers, more buyers than sellers, we did see a short-term increase in property values. But then now, towards the end of this, as we're in the last quarter of the year, things have definitely slowed down. Low inventory indicates high buyer demand, which usually pushes prices up. So in that case, the Philadelphia market was spot on with that recommendation. Number 4, supply and demand. For investment sales, we take an in-depth look at the supply and demand fundamentals of the market, and more specifically, capture rates in year-over-year rental rate growth coupled with the amount of new supply being delivered. It is critical to have your pulse on the most important market drivers to ensure assets are properly positioned or being repositioned to stay competitive. So depending on if you're working in the investment market, again, also looking at supply and demand, and looking at and tracking if it's rental properties, obviously looking at the growth in rental rates and tracking rental rates is crucial to advise your investor of what to purchase, and and what strategy that investor should take in a particular market. I mean, is it a short is a short hold, is a long-term hold, based on the investor's strategy, will dictate how you advise your client. And when you're working with investors, that's something that you definitely want to get straight up front. What are your goals? I mean, what is the strategy? Are we in this? Oh, is it a 12-month scenario? Is it 24 months? Is it 5 years? What's the exit strategy? So you always want to go over these with your investors. Number 5, sales and price changes. In markets where we participate, I set up online alerts to notify me of sales and price changes. From there, I monitor homes and condos that list or sell, paying specific attention to the pricing and time on the market. The key sign for me is a downward one. It is preceded by price drops in the market for people searching for a floor to the pricing. Multiple price drops across a market indicate a cooling or correcting market. And this can also be synonymous with just, timing and the holiday season. Typically in the holidays, toward the end of the year, right after Halloween, Thanksgiving going into Christmas, things tend to slow down. Inventory tends to drop off. Now there is still business for the tuned-in agent, because there's typically reload buyers that still need to buy, and there are homes that have gone on the market prior to the holidays which will be on the market. And typically they may see a slowdown in activity, but after the new year, things typically always kick back into gear. Now, weather in our area will have a distinct impact on the level of showings. A few years ago, we had a hard winter, and literally it shut the spring market down due to excessive snow and freezing temperatures. Once we got out of that inclement weather, things changed. But weather can and will have a factor in our market. Let's see. 6, limited inventory and higher prices. A key sign is when home prices are increasing and the available inventory is becoming more limited. Increased home prices and days on the market are both good indicators to watch and determine if the market is heating up. So there are 6 signs that a local real estate market is changing gears. And on the surface, they seem pretty generic, but again, I mean, this isn't rocket science. It's about taking the time to do your homework and your research based on the advice that these folks from Forbes have given us. You got to know your inventory. You got to know the trends. You got to know the absorption rates. You got to know again, inventory levels, supply and demand. How quickly or how is it staying on the market? How many are on the market given any time? How many active pending and sales over the last 6 months you have in any given neighborhood? Having that information in hand really makes your decision-making process and the process for your buyers or sellers a lot easier. So with that being said, are there any questions or comments?
It does not look like we have any questions, but you guys know if you do have any questions at all, you can always email Dan at pabroker@ajicorporate.com, and I know he would be more than happy to answer any questions that you have in regards to not only this, but any topic that he's covered in the past, or just any questions you have in general. Dan, do you have any final words?
No, I just wanted to wish everybody a happy holiday season, and keep your eye out. Watch the Fed looking at rates as we head towards the end of the year. Keep your eye on the interest rates, and keep an eye on your inventory levels in your market.
Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for joining us on another Pennsylvania Broker Roundtable. And of course, thank you to Dan for all of your wonderful insight as always, and for putting together such a wonderful presentation. Thanks again for joining, and I hope you all have a wonderful week as well as a wonderful Thanksgiving next week. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.